Hey everybody. This is kind of new, different setup, different audio and whatnot. So this is not going to sound the greatest and well put together, but we're going to see how it works. It's going to be interesting. I guess one of the reasons that I really wanted to bring this out is because for a long time we have been, when I say we, I mean obviously myself and my wife Julia, we've been extremely quiet. And I think that has done some damage to us because being quiet when you're not in the wrong it's pretty bad. And we now see from an perspective that it didn't benefit us much. Really, what it did was it gave the people who needed to conceal their lies and their grifts time to basically circulate their stories. For us, we just wanted to make it through the process, make it through the ABC News interviews, and to just try to find some normalcy in our life, trying to recover and just get ourselves back in a better mental health standing. I can tell you now at this point it's better, but it's been hard. It's been amazingly hard. And the reason that I'm making these series of recordings, it's because unfortunately, the individuals who were all caught up in this still feel like they have to continue to make their, well, they have to keep, let's be for real, they have to keep their lie going. When you have a lie that is of such large scale as the ones that these individuals have done, you have no choice but to continue to say it, because if you stop and tell the truth, you will lose all your credibility. Unfortunately, and I'm trying to make this not too long so I can kind of give everybody some information behind why I'm doing what I'm doing. Back in 2020, in January, I went ahead and filed a complaint with the Arizona Board of Psychological Examiners in regards to a Dr. Marilyn Wiley. Dr. Marilyn Wiley and her supervisor, or should I say air quotes, her supervisor that was allegedly supervising her. Because I say allegedly because it has been proven, and through the court proceedings of the CSC, the Complaint Screening Committee, that she wasn't supervised. She wasn't. And on top of that, thanks to Dave Biscobing and ABC News 15, really getting down to the bottom of it, she wasn't licensed. There was the EPPP, which is the certification exam to become a therapist. She took that a few times and failed it. And unfortunately, when I started seeing Dr. Wiley for therapy, and it was through Vibrant Healthcare, I made a mistake. I was under the assumption that everything was above board. You know, you have your insurance. There's my Blue Cross Blue Shield. And you present it to the company. Yes, we do have this therapist here, quote unquote. And yes, you can see her. Yes, everything is good. You get your bills, you get your co-pays and whatnot. You make your co-pays and whatnot, and you think everything's fine. You go through and you start having your sessions. My sessions initially started, I would probably say late 2017, back when Dr. Wiley was in Chandler off of like the 202. There was some office back there. So I would go there. Initially, what I went there for, there was an adjustment issue with a manager that I was dealing with my company, and it was a horrible experience. It was a lot going on. So we had a mix of that. We had a mix of life pressures starting to get at me. This is kind of when we were getting to the point of my son being diagnosed with autism, and all those things in just being combined with the fact that you're your marriage is pretty much so in shambles. Um, I would say, and given a honest take, I would say now that we were just two people that just, grew apart. Let's be for real. You grow apart from people when you just don't have the commonalities anymore, where you are in a marriage where you feel like, that you're keeping it together just for the children. And you just try your best to put things together, and it doesn't work. So kind of going through that, and all the just the pain and the hurt of things was really just hard to bear and hard to move on with and whatnot. But I'm kind of going to skip around. So going through these sessions, I would, just like your typical therapy sessions, you would get on the couch. Literally there was a couch, and you would sit there and talk to the therapist. And let me say this about Dr. Wiley. She puts on a good front. She looks the part. You wouldn't think that she wasn't above board. I mean, she played the part well, but then it pretty much turned out to be, it was like a Rachel Dolezal of therapy, or something like that. But anyway, so was going through that, and going through just different sessions. And once things with the marriage were really starting to fall apart, the sessions were work issues and work adjustment issues and marriage issues. Now, it was definitely a difficult and a hard period, because one of the sessions that really stood out to me, and I was going for single sessions and whatnot. It was just me and Dr. Wiley. Now, keep in mind that Dr. Wiley and my now ex-wife, she now calls herself Doctor. She is a doctor. I mean, she has 5 degrees. Yeah. Dr. Taditsia Dennis. Her and Dr. Wiley are more than good friends. Her and Dr. Wiley are sorority sisters. Matter of fact, Dr. Dennis brought her into the sorority. And the sorority, and I say it because it plays a big part. The sorority is Sigma Gamma Rho. It's a organization founded in 1922. I would say predominantly black. Yeah, was not founded at a historically black college and university. It was founded at Butler. Anyway, we don't need the history lesson. So you now have my ex, and you have the therapist. Now, I was one who was of the mindset of, black people don't go to therapy, we go to prison. I mean, seriously, as crazy as that sounds. I know it's insane now, thinking back. But, I'm going through everything else, and I'm, telling my story and going forth with, having difficulties and whatnot. And just how the relationship was it was hard. We were definitely just not vibing anymore. And it was over the years, we fell more to the thought of, we are the parents to 2 boys. Let's make sure their development is good. Let's make sure that they have everything they need. And I was able to do that. Just a worker bee by nature. Didn't know in the future I would just be called solely a paycheck. But either way, I've, knock on wood, I've had a really good career in the IT field. I've been different avenues of IT over the years, 20 plus year career, software development, Hadoop, AWS, and just other technologies. So luckily over the years it's paid the bills. But paying the bills is just not enough when things are falling apart. So I'm going through the sessions, and then one day there's a session where I'm going to attend, And, I'm in the lobby. I'm in the lobby waiting to go back to see Dr. Wiley. And she brings me into the office. I'm basically just getting ready to start the session. And I look, and already the couch is occupied. The couch is occupied by my now ex-wife, who's sitting there. And I'm kind of like, we're already at odds and ends. So why in the hell is she here? There was no couples therapy. We were not doing couple therapy. There was nothing that I had in mind for couples therapy. So I remember going in, I sit down, I sit to the far left of the couch. She's on the far right of the couch, closest to Dr. Wiley. I remember the far left because it was right by the window. And I remember kind of glancing off at traffic because you could see the traffic coming off the ramp from the 202. So Dr. Wiley is trying to, I guess my interpretation is playing mediator and talking about everything that's going on and whatnot and how she feels and whatnot. And I'm going to paraphrase this because it's been years, so I don't remember exactly what she said. But she was saying that the now ex, wants to bring something out and wants to tell me something, but she didn't feel comfortable telling me by herself. So she wanted Dr. Wiley to facilitate. Well, okay. That's when I first hear about the infidelity. That's when, oh yeah, I was mad. Hell, I walked out of that session. Yeah. And obviously Dr. Wiley came back behind me. I think I went back in. It was just a cloud. I didn't want to hear that. I was already, fully enthralled in a shitty marriage, but I was not going to play the cheating card. Now, as we all sit back and we talk about all the craziness of the Divine Nine and the organizations that are with them, there are some people who have this thing where they live too much for the organization. They are truly, truly embodied, and they feel like everything that happens in their life has to be associated with it. It's not me. You have the folks that I don't give a damn what event they go to. They got on a fraternity or sorority shirt. It could be a funeral for somebody who's not even in the organization or any organization, and they'll have their shirt on. They'll have their pin on and this, that, and other. And everything they do, their cars, they got the seat covers and the headrests and the license plate covers and the window stickers and the decals and everything else. I'm not saying there's no issue with being proud, but there's just some people, I think they put their life's identity into these organizations. And I joined late. I say joined late because I graduated high school in 1992 from Jeff Davis High School in Montgomery, Alabama. Immediately went to Alabama State for a couple years, and then I transferred to DeVry in Decatur, Georgia. So didn't pledge. Life kind of is what it was. Kept things moving, and then fast forward a number of years to 2012, and that's when I finally joined Omega Psi-Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Now, so that's that little history piece. But the reason why I say that part, because it's interesting, because now I've heard yes, there's infidelity, and I've been doing this, and I've been, she's been talking to folks and reaching out to folks, and I knew it because you get that feeling when you're real possessive about the phone, and you don't want to share anything, or if a call comes through, you kind of peek off and whatnot, and so forth and so on. Kind of had that feeling, but I guess I just was in a point to where I didn't want it to be true, and so I kind of just I let the spell of denial be my be my comfort at the point. So yes, infidelity. It turns out it was a couple people, and I'm not really going to be shy on telling people's names. I'll go ahead and say this: one of them actually was a fraternity brother. Fraternity brother, out of Tucson. I'm just going to say Jay for right now. I think if you're in the frat, you'll figure it out. But yeah, so it was Jay, and I was lucky that I actually ran it. Well, one of my frat brothers who was really a good friend and basically reached out to me and said, hey, let me tell you what's going on. I told Jay that he needs to reach out to you and needs to talk to you, because regardless of what's going on with your marriage at the time, they're still married. And I think the 2 weeks or the week or so went by. He didn't get in contact with me. I actually got in contact with him. And basically, yeah, he said, yeah, they had a little thing going on. They were sexting and sending pictures. He said just his torso. But anyway, but yeah, and the explanation to me was, oh man, it was nothing serious. I was just on some dog shit. He just wanted to have some ass in a local city whenever he decided to come up and wanted to, come in somebody or whatever. So let's be for real. My ex was very much so she is very much so about the Divine Nine. She knew one way or another that it was part of her identity, is part of her grift, is part of all the things that she's of. I mean, this type of person that if she goes out to an event, you'll see something Sigma Gamma Rho. And I'm not saying you can't be proud of the organization, but at some point, come on. Anyway, so yes, one of the shots of infidelity was with the frat brother. I'm gonna probably have them out of order, but I learned from a guy named Henry, who was dating my now ex-wife, Dr. Dennis, and we actually became friends. And that's weird. You'd be like, why are you being friends with the guy who's dating your ex-wife? Well, it's interesting. The reason why I got to know Henry is because of Dr. Wiley. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to play a phone call that happened like December 20th, 2019, because me being the bed owl, get home and I knock out. I guess there's a message on my phone and a voicemail. I miss both of them. So I get up, get ready for work. It's pretty damn early. This is pre-pandemic, so you had to take your butt to work. So I get into the office and I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, I get a message and it's from Henry, or a phone call or something like that. And I was like, whoa, I made a mistake. I thought this was a Henry that I knew. It's my dearly departed fraternity brother, Demond McClendon. He had a roommate at the time because he was kind of going through his separation and divorce at the same time. He had a roommate by the name of Henry, and I was good friends with Henry, great guy. So I'm thinking, okay, Henry hit me up or whatever. So I'm thinking it's that Henry, not the ex. Now ex, yeah, because anyway, that's a long story. But yeah, I thought it was him. So anyway, I basically trying to figure things out. And then what I do is I reach out to Dr. Wiley, asking a question like, I got this guy hitting me up. Who the hell is he? Because I don't know. I've never met him. We've never been introduced. He doesn't have my phone number. I never had his, so it came through as unknown. So the phone call, because I spoke to Dr. Wiley and I didn't like the tone of it. And anyway, I didn't have a fast charger, but my battery was going dead. So I went ahead, I plugged my phone up and I recorded the conversation. And I thank God that I recorded the conversation, because I was going through a divorce. And, some of the best advice I received was save everything. Make sure you have all your paperwork. Make sure that you record everything. Make sure you just have everything covered, because you don't know the things that folks will do. And that's got to be the greatest advice. Anybody going through a divorce, fellas, record everything. Save everything that you have to, if you have any conversation with pretty much any party that you think might be involved. So I basically reach out to Dr. Wiley. My phone starts to die, so I disconnect the call with her. I get a charger, and I go into one of the conference rooms to have this conversation with her. And thank you, Google Voice. If you need to use a recording software on your phone to record conversations, use Google Voice. That's right, Google, GOOGLE.com. Anyway, that's a joke. No, so I went ahead and I recorded the conversation. So this is the conversation in its entirety that I want you to listen to. I know this is a long intro. It's like 20 minutes, so I'll try to wrap it up so you can listen to the conversation. The full conversation is 20 minutes, 27 minutes. Please listen to the whole thing. I will put excerpts of parts in it that I feel that are important in regards to what I'm going through. The reason for this coming out is because now, well, not even now, it's been going on. If you've been on my Facebook page, you've seen that I've been going, I guess the expression is ham, on a church, Fisher AME Zion Church in Phoenix, Arizona. Their first lady, Josephine Waitman, also another member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, and her husband, Staccato Powell Jr. That's a mouthful. They are an interesting couple. Let's just say they have their own grift. They have their past. They have a lot of things going on, but that's another story for another day. Yes, she was on World Star Hip Hop. She was a World Star Hip Hop honey. The pastor got massive criminal charges, multiple bankruptcies, felonies like abductions and crazy shit. Anyway, another story, another day. So I'm starting to get this information from my lawyers that what's going on. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's now the story that's been circulating, and it's been circulating because it's coming from Dr. Dennis, my ex-wife, and she's on this whole thing now where she feels like she needs to try to sell some garbage BS book she's writing or whatever, and her life wasn't exciting enough. So how do you make your life exciting? You make it look like you've came from struggle. And unfortunately, the story she wants to validate her struggle with, she wants to say that she's a domestic abuse survivor. She wants to say that she was physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever, abused by me. And let me go ahead and be the first person to tell you with complete honesty and certainty, that's bullshit. 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 Yes, I said it 3 times. I have not, in any shape, form, or fashion, abused my ex-wife. And even kicking around a little bit to give you some past and some other information. Matter of fact, maybe I'll say that for a different one, because anyway, she tried to file an order of protection on me saying I was abusing her and things were happening with her therapist, yada, yada, yada. And I'm being mean to the therapist or whatever, something like that. Took me to court. It was crazy. It was like February of 2020. Imagine getting an email the next day and they tell you, hey, the cops are here. Matter of fact, it was February 27th because it was my brother's birthday. Imagine you getting getting an email saying, hey, there were cops are here and they wanted to see you. I just happened to be off that day. And then a couple of days later, I didn't really think about it. I'm back at my home where I reside, and the ex-wife did not live there because we had separate residences. And I'm basically, one morning, I basically get up, go to the door because I hear a knock on the door. There's 3 Chandler PD officers there and what we like to call a shooting formation. And if you don't know what a shooting formation is, imagine this. Imagine you're the person opening the door, right? There's a police officer, but he's not right in front of you. He's to the left of you. That's police officer 1. He's the lead officer. Police officer 2 is basically like at the bottom of the steps to the right of you, but not in front of you. Police officer 3 is behind police officer 2, kind of at an angle. So nobody's directly in front of me. And the reason why they're not in front of you, because if something happens and they have to shoot you, they all have a clear line of sight. So you're thinking like, why do I have 3 police officers at my door and with the potential to basically harm and kill me? Well, that's because the ex Dr. Dennis decided at the time, Dr. Dennis Jackson decided that let me try to ruin my soon-to-be ex-husband or in the process thereof. Oh, February 2020? No, it was ex-husband. Trying to ruin her ex-husband. Why? Because a month prior, I filed a complaint against the Board of Psychological Examiners once I found out that Dr. Wiley was not certified, licensed, and supervised, and I felt like things were going wrong and I had suspicions about the things that she was doing. And my suspicions are confirmed because it's correct. There was a lot of bad things happening. So with that, I'm going to play the recording. So we're going to go back. It's going to be a recording of me and Dr. Wiley. Those are the 2 main voices. There's no other voices, me and Dr. Wiley. And Dr. Wiley, and this is a reason why she's not licensed, a reason why she was, her application for licensure was suspended by the board in Arizona. She's telling me about the therapy session that happened with the ex. Yes, that's right. She actually was seeing the ex too as a therapist, quote unquote. She tells me about Henry, who is dating my ex, and tells me about his therapy session. And it turns out that Henry brought my youngest son in for his therapy session with Dr. Wiley. Now you should sit back and think like, wow, there's a lot of bad shit going on because you should not 3 people be seeing Dr. Wiley. Trust me, there's more. So what ends up happening is this is the conversation from December 20th, 2019. And this is where she's talking to Henry in his session and answering questions that Henry had about me. She basically provides my information to Henry, and that's the reason why he called me. And I just really want everybody to hear this because listen to, and I'll have a separate recording of it, but listen to the recording and you will hear Henry, you won't hear Henry, but you'll hear Dr. Wiley talk about Henry's therapy session where he asked Dr. Wiley, why does Reginald beat his ex-wife, Dr. Dennis? And it's interesting because remember, you got to keep in mind at this time, Henry was dating Dr. Dennis or Tadizia, whatever, Tadzia. If you need it for phonetics, I don't know it. But if you need the letters, it's T as in Tango, A as in Alpha, D as in Delta, Z as in Zulu, I as in India, and A as in Alpha. There you go, Tadizia. So if you, it's just crazy. So all of a sudden now I have this guy who left me a message and I haven't really had a chance to figure out what the hell is going on. So Dr. Wiley, I guess, left me a message as well. And I'm calling her confused, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And this is what this call is about. So I want you guys to hear it because I am honestly, remember, this is 2019. We're now in 2022. I am damn sick and tired of the ex going around saying that she was a victim of domestic abuse. I had to file a cease and desist against her and others, including the church, because they were giving, obviously sorority sisters doing a favor for each other. They were giving her a platform to make a speech, and it was completely disgusting and horrible. She talks about myself. She talks about my wife, Julia, saying that she is a home wrecker and she did all this, breaking up the marriage and whatnot. The reason Dr. Dennis is so adamant about telling this story because it's her story. It's her lie. And so she's already told her entire sorority this lie, that the reason that they broke up and their relationship came to an end because Reginald, he met Julia. I met Julia March 1st, 2019. After I was divorced, after I was finalized and divorced, I met Julia, and she claims that Julia was the one that broke our marriage up. Yeah, it's kind of hard to break up a marriage when you didn't even know the person. Matter of fact, Julia and myself were introduced by my frat brother Demond, and that's how we met. So there wasn't any like I was out dating and I was trying to find stuff out. I just want to do all this, that, and other. So yes, I've had now the police come serve me with the order of protection. I had to go defend myself. I had to get that quashed. It was dismissed 100%. There was nothing supported that. There was no pictures, no evidence, no anything. The only thing that Dr. Dennis had was a letter supporting her claims written by Denise Trimble Smith. Now, for those who are playing the home game, Denise Trimble Smith is another member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. You guys kind of get the similarities right there. It's a sorority screw job. Correct. Anyway, another story, another day. So yeah, so she basically wrote that to the judge, Commissioner Susan G. White, and Judge White basically laughed it out of the court. Because in the letter that Denise wrote to the court basically said that Mr. Jackson is manic, he is off his medications, he is this, that, and other, he has the ability to hurt people and this, that, and other. Yeah, all that other bullshit. So, I guess, Judge White and her, I thank God for her for seeing through the bullshit. Judge White basically said, how does somebody who, because Denise says in the letter that she hasn't spoken to me in over a year. I'm gonna make sure, trust me, I'm gonna post it. I want everybody to read it. That hasn't spoken to me in over a year. But how is somebody who you haven't spoken to over a year, how do you know they're recently off their medications? And what medication would it be? That emptiness you just heard was the answer. Nothing. You don't know. So it looks like from the timing of everything that's happened, that they decided to concoct that letter up as a way of support to try to get that order of protection to stick against me once I went to the courts and contested it, and we had to go to court. So yes, we went to court, myself, my ex-wife, and Judge White and the recorder. Those were the four people that were in that courtroom. And so the ironic part is once Commissioner White dismissed the order of protection, immediately, obviously very upset, Dr. Dennis and let me say this too, and this is a bad sidebar, people. If you are in a sorority or a fraternity and you were going to court for any reasons, don't wear your letters into court. I don't know why. All I can remember is that black sweater she wore that had Sigma Gamma Rho on it. I'm like, what the hell? I had on a suit and tie and everything else, and she had on her damn sorority letters. That's when you see that somebody can't separate life from D9 life. When I say D9, I say Divine 9 life. Anyway, so I digress. So anyway, so what ends up happening is the judge basically says it's going to be dismissed. There's no cause, Mr. Jackson. There's no evidence. There's no police reports. There's no pictures. There's nothing. There was absolutely nothing. There was nothing provided because there wasn't anything. You know, if you were beat and all this happened to you and this, that, and other, you chose not to say it. So now the new lie is I just held it together really good. That's her lie now. And let me say this, and my apologies to anybody who has experienced domestic abuse. Know that my heart goes out to you. I know that going through this journey and having to tell a number of individuals the story, I've had the pleasure of speaking to women who were unfortunately in relationships that were of domestic abuse. And after seeing the information about my story presented to them, they said with complete certainty, she was not abused. There's no way. She doesn't act like a person who was abused. And when she was telling her story in Fisher AME Church, I should get the video of that so people can see and hear that. The ego, the nasty nature. If someone had to go through something so traumatic, if you were abused over a 20-year relationship, you wouldn't put on such a dignified, sarcastic, nasty, hate-filled venom act like she did. And people wonder why I went after the church, why I went after the pastor, why I went after his little world star hip hop first lady, because they knew what was going on. They're Divine 9 too. They knew what was going on, but they chose because that was her sorority sister. That was her soror. Dr. Dennis basically used the platform of Fisher AME Zion Church in conjunction with her sorority sister, the first lady there, Josephine Waitman Powell. And it was just a nasty fest. So, anyway, far beyond my explanation, there's so much shit. But this is just kind of the first thing. There's going to be a bunch of recordings. So you guys sit back and enjoy this. What you're going to listen to is going to be the phone call from, December 20th, 2019, when I find out who the hell is Henry and why is Henry trying to contact me. Anyway, enjoy. I'm going to go ahead and cut this for this one. There's going to be other recordings. Please stay tuned. I am making this part of my podcast, the Basic Black Podcast. And I shouldn't make myself the first story, but it's too much to not. So anyway, enjoy or just listen. It's not really enjoyable because this was hell in my life, in my wife's life, Julia. So please listen, and please listen to it entirely, and you will see why Dr. Marilyn Wiley should never practice. This is what she tells somebody. Remember, this is her talking to me, her patient. But she does so many evil things, and I have other recordings of that, which I will bring to light as well. And this one, she actually says, no, he's never beaten anybody. There's been no abuse there, because there wasn't. The divorce decree says it. There wasn't. Now, you're running into courtrooms and police departments and everything else trying to file orders of protection on people, and you never thought you were going to go into a court. You never going to go to the police department and say, hey, I was beat? No, because you wasn't. And the irony of this story, and I'm going to end it right here. The irony of the story is once I start to learn about Henry and speak to Henry actually at that time tried to do right. He tried to make sure I was able to see my youngest son, because at the time, Dr. Dennis was not allowing me to see my son. Matter of fact, I took her to court again. I took her to court on 11/19/2019 because I filed a petition to enforce because she was withholding my son's phone number, and you'll hear that in the conversation as well. She talks about tells Henry that my phone has been blocked. I'm going to provide those text messages showing how I was blocked. This is what women do to men when they need to make sure they want to hurt them the most. They want to alienate them from their children. I didn't want to do all this. I didn't want to sit back and have to make a podcast about the fucked up shit in my life, but I had to. Why do you have to? Because I have to get this said so I don't have to say it anymore. The bullshit of being called an abuser is horrible. The long running effects. I've almost lost my job. I've lost business connections. I've lost friends. I've lost so many things, and all because somebody decided they wanted to lie. So please, let's listen to the anatomy of a liar, and let's listen to a person's conscience when they talk to you. The recording you're about to hear is myself, Dr. Marilyn Wiley. So when you hear people talk about Henry, that's the Henry from the story. When you hear about talking about she might say Taditya or them, that's Taditya. She's talking about their relationship, them fighting, them arguing, and everything else that goes on. This is what she's telling me. This is not what therapists do, what they should do if you were licensed. So anyway, I digress. I calm down. Please enjoy and listen to it, and let's have a discussion about it. I'm Reggie, and this is the Basic Black Podcast, and I'll talk to you later.
Hello?
Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, that explains so freaking much, because I guess the really crazy hard part about this is I'm up there in my head kind of have, obviously when it's the new guy, I don't care what relationship she's in. I'm happy for her in that extent, but I was looking at it more like, like Henry's the affecting party. And if that's really if he's conveying that to you, it doesn't sound like he's the person who was quote unquote the bad guy, because because like I said, he's echoed the same sentiment in that text message he sent me, saying that he's just trying to see things with Darius, and it was kind of hard for me to believe because it just came out of the blue, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on?
No, it didn't just come out of the blue. He was kind of suspicious about things for a while, and a lot of things that he was being told, he said it just didn't add up to him, and he was trying to figure things out, but he actually was trying to step up based on what he was told about you, as far as you pretty much just left him and doing your own thing and don't care about them and not worried about them. So he's not for feeling sorry. He said he feel like Darius is a good kid and everything, and so he wasn't trying to step up and take your place. He was just trying to fill in the gap because he sensed that it seemed like he was sad and lonely and all the stuff that he heard about you, that he said it was just a lot of gaps there.
Yeah.
And he didn't know. He also thought that you were not trying to contact Darius, and I showed him the message where you screenshotted, and forgive me for doing that.
No, I mean,
but
it's
I was trying to show them without me trying to sound like I'm advocating for you. They're telling me what they are told, and I'm telling them what I know for a fact. And when he asked, how do I know for a fact? And I said, because I talked to Reggie. He said, just talk to him. I was like, no, he sent me messages where he actually blocked. And he asked me when the last time he was blocked. I said, I don't know. I said, but the message he sent me was December, just this month. He said, just this month. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, no, it goes way.
He said she told him that you've been unblocked since y'all went to court.
That's a lie. Yeah.
But you still chose not to contact Darius. I said, that's not true. I said, that's not how Reginald is. I said, I even called him after she told me and asked him what is he doing and why he ain't contacting him, and he told me that wasn't true, that he has been. And I said, and to prove to me that he has been trying to reach Darius, he screenshotted me that he was blocked. And he said, you lying to me. I said, no. I said, I have no reason to lie to you. I said, just as I told Khadijah and I told Reggie, I said, I'm going to keep it real, because at the end of the day, my main interest is Darius and his brother. I said, they grown. I said, those two are grown. And I said, and I have no reason to sit here and lie to you about what's happening and what's going on. I said, the only vested interest I have is making sure Darius is in a good place and not caught in the middle of foolishness. So he was like, yeah, I get it, I understand. He said, but I can't believe that. But after she told me, all he had been through and, what a monster and bad person that Reginald was, I said, monster? I said, what do you mean? I mean, she told me about him beating her and stuff. I said, beating her?
Beating her? Oh, wow.
I said, what? He said, yeah, she told me after her dad died, that's when the beating started.
What?
I said, be like physical beating her? He's like, yeah, like beating her up. I said, okay, I'm not going to touch that. And then he said, no, tell me the truth. I said, I want to be clear. You saying me, that she told you that Reginald beat her. And he said, yeah. And then I said, well, all I'm going to say is I'm not privy to that information, and neither one of them shared that it was any physical abuse in the relationship.
Wow.
I said, that's all I can share.
Wow. She is playing the living hell out of me. Wow. Mm-hmm.
So he's just trying to do what Darius wants to do and what he feels best for Darius. And he said that they got in an argument because Darius told him that he's 16 years old, but she tried to keep him like he a child, and he don't like it. And he gets tired of going back and forth with her, so he just give up and just let her call all the shots. But he's tired of being treated like a child. So he said he mentioned to her one day, well, he know what it was something to eat or something to do, and she was trying to control the situation and tell him what he needed to do or how he needed to do it or something. And they got into a huge argument about it because, and then she said he steals her baby and all this, and then, but he's complaining, and he said the same thing to me. He said, my mom treats me like I'm a baby, like I'm a child. He said, but I'm a 16-year-old boy about to be a man, and she think I can't do things by myself. And he said, that kind of bothers me. And said that she's still trying to convince him that Santa Claus is real.
Oh,
and he's 16.
wow.
So it's just a lot, and I just feel like he caught in the middle. But he said he was glad that I was able to clear it up because he didn't understand why you stopped messaging and texting him and stuff.
Yeah, because it goes back to when I switched the cell phones over, and she took it. Because I sent her a legal email stating that the service is going to terminate in 45 days per the divorce decree and the agreement. And then when she changed it over, I still got the text message when I said, "Hey, can I have Darius's number?" And she's like, "No, you cannot have it. If you want to talk to Darius, you can call my cell phone to talk to him." And I'm like, "You can't do that." That's the reason why I had her served, and she had to go to court for a petition to enforce to release the phone number. And when she released it, she still kept it blocked. Yeah.
She told Darius that she gave you the number that day, and
she
if
did.
you wanted to contact, you did all that to get the number, and see, he still ain't trying to reach out to you.
Wow.
I told him that's not true because she gave him the number but blocked him.
Yep. That's it. Damn.
So I'm sorry. I felt he was 16 and he needed to know the truth, and so I told him.
And so, yeah, because that's the thing about it, because now I had the ex hitting me up talking about, because I asked, I said, am I going to at least know what my son wants for Christmas or anything else? And she basically like, well, he wants this, he wants a gaming chair. So I went and bought that for him for Christmas and whatnot. And I'm just like, see, she oh my God. She feeds pieces.
Oh, yeah, she was upset last night because I had to lay into her for not being honest with me. And she said it seemed like everything is her fault and she to blame. I was like, no. I said, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, my
that's
goodness.
not what I'm saying. And I can't do nothing right, and this is hard, and having both of the boys. And I was like, but you don't have to.
No, she doesn't have to.
He's trying to help you, and he's trying to reach out to him. You got to give him that, and you can't isolate him and then act like, you don't have any help. But yeah, she was crying and upset, and I'm sorry, but I have to be real sometime, Reggie. You know me.
Yeah.
And y'all done woke me up this morning.
Sorry. I was just trying to...
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to call you when I got up anyway.
Sorry. Yeah, because for once I actually... once.
To see you. He want to hang out, and she's trying to make him go on a trip in February. And I told her, I said, you and Reggie are the parent. I said, but as far as me, I said, it's a no for me.
Yeah.
He said he don't want to go. And I said, and if it was left up to me, he wouldn't go. He said he'd rather you go and meet Henry's family, and he want to stay with his dad. And he said that you've been fussing at him and trying to make him go and telling him that he's going. I said, you out of line.
Yeah.
I said, Darius don't process things and people like that. I said, he don't even like going places when you go places with Denise, and he knows her. I said, he's on the spectrum, so he have social awkwardness. So for you to force him to go all the way to Virginia to meet some people that he don't know and be there for a while, I said, you out of line. I said, you can't do that to him.
Yeah.
I said, he's at the age that you should allow him to decide when he's ready to meet them, if ever, and if he want to go or not. I said, so for me, it's a no.
Yeah.
And Henry said for him, it's a no. He said he going to continue to try to talk to her about it. And he said he ain't going to feel slighted about it or feel bad about it. He said because he understands Darius is not that kind of social person. But she's adamant about he's going.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's a no for me.
Well, that's interesting because that was another reason why she stopped why she didn't want me to have Darius's phone number, because when I had Darius's account, she knows per our divorce decree, he can't leave the state without my permission. So she blocked him. Yeah.
It's a no.
Yeah.
You tell her no. He do not want to go.
Yeah, that's fine. You know what? I thank God, and I can honestly say I thank God because I have a different relationship. But for the clarity that I have in my head now, because the things that she's doing to Darius, she's been doing it to Reggie. I've had pieces of it, and I hate it because that's the reason why I started going to Darius' school, because she wouldn't let me see him.
She's
And
doing the same thing to him.
yeah, she's
And that might be why he might got questions. I don't know.
yeah.
But for the most part, I told him to keep it strictly about Darius.
Well, you know what?
I said, if you feel like it's stuff that she's not being honest with you about, I said, you need to talk to her about that. But he said he don't know, is feeling undervalued, underappreciated, and like talked down to. He can't do that much longer.
Okay. I appreciate it. Again, I'm sorry for waking you up. Because I'm like, because when I got a text message from Henry, and I'm like, I thought it was my frat brother's friend. I'm like, oh, what's up? Hey, what's up, bro? I haven't talked to you in a minute. And he's like, no, aren't you interested about spending time with your son? Because I'm like, huh? Whoa, wrong Henry. And then that's when I figured out it was him. And I was like, holy goodness, what the hell is going on? And then that's when I started having a conversation with him. He's talking about meeting up with me. I'm like, man, I said, you have to understand it from my position. I'm not just going to meet up with you on random. We've never spoken from that one time I've seen you on accident. And I made sure not to cross paths or be an issue or a complication and this, that, and other. But the fact that the ex is talking about I beat her, that's crazy. That is so damn crazy. After her dad died. That's, wow. She is so desperate to write it.
I tried to correct this. I don't know what else he's been said.
Oh, it's probably been a lot.
Even before I corrected that, he was willing to sit down and, talk, because he came in, he said, at a volatile moment, but he only had one side of the story. But even though he told her that is her situation and that was before him, and that he was going to let her handle it the way she needs to handle it, and that he wasn't going to get in it. But I don't know. And I told him I could see, and he said he could see how you would be upset or angry or thinking that, he trying to take your place and all this kind of stuff. But I told him that I would contact you first, but I guess he was just antsy.
Yeah.
And then I know the two of them had some words last night, so he probably was antsy about trying to reach out to you before I did.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that will explain why I was kind of like, that's why I was like on my defensive. Like, I never even spoke to you, and you're sending me a random text message. I'm like, this is what I get for going to sleep early. But, yeah. So that's crazy. So, well, you know what? Then I find that to be highly commendable. But I also understand when you're in a relationship with a woman, you're gonna take the woman's side because that's the only side you know. And
that's all he knows.
You know what?
And you were painted to be a bad person.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Wow. So Henry actually got the ex to come in for a session. He's better than I am. Way better than I am. Yeah. But yeah. Okay. Wow. Ooh, boy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
well,
it's still your choice of what you do, but I do know those two things. He want to go to the smash room and he want to start doing paintball. And I think paintball will be good because it'll require him to have to move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And because I used to play semi-pro paintball years ago. Yeah.
And he said that he's very proud of you because you started paintball at NAU.
Yeah, I still remember. Yeah, I started their college team like 13 years ago. It's still around. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Again, I'm sorry about waking you up. It was just really weird to see a message from him. And then I'm like, oh, Marilyn, because I saw.
Yeah, I didn't know he contacted you. I thought. Well, I told him that I would reach out to you first because I know, not that you're on the defense, but you didn't want any parts of that because you don't know what's going on and what's happening over there. So I had told him that I would reach out, but I think after they got into an argument last night, he probably said he gonna do what he wanted to do, because I asked him yesterday. I said, you don't want to talk to her about it? He said he asked her a couple months ago, and she shut him down and told him no. And then he said, so he feel like if he asks again, she gonna try to shut it down. And so at this point, he really don't care what she has to say or think, or if she get mad, that he was gonna do what he can do.
Wow.
So
You know what?
No, he's not gonna ask for her permission.
And if I didn't hear that from you, I would have never believed him. Never.
Oh yeah, I told you he was a good man a couple of months ago. He really trying to do the best for your son, and he said sometimes that's the only thing that's keeping him there, because she told him how bad it was when you were there and you left, and how it impacted him so bad that he feel like he didn't want to be the next person to hurt him. He said, but as far as her, sometimes he feel like the best thing for him to do is just leave. But he said he sees the potential in Darius, and he feel bad how she control him, that he feel like he's there and he's helping to buffer, because he see progress in Darius, and he would hate to be the next man to walk out his life like you did, because he feel like you just have abandoned them and don't want nothing to do with them.
And I live
so
6 minutes away.
Then he won't have nobody.
Right.
I told him, no, that's not true. I said, if you feel like you need to leave, I said, you can still see Darius if you need to leave. I said, so don't feel like you got to stay for that. I said, he has a father that's
who's been trying. Yeah, but that goes back to Taditha. She has to control things, and I finally truly see that. That's how she operates, and she'll manipulate and do whatever she has to do, and I'm not surprised.
He said that.
Yeah. All right.
And he said he's trying his best, and he loved her, and he loved Darius too, and he's trying his best. But he said he want to do the right thing, but he said sometimes he feel like there's only so much he could take.
No, I understand that. I did 20.
So I don't know what part they actually had the argument about, but both of them called me last night, and I was like, oh, Lord. And so that's why I just text you and said, I'll call you later, 'cause I was tired.
Oh, boy. And you sound like it. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on, because it's just weird. Because I actually got the first text message off to Darius yesterday. Because matter of fact, I reached out to her again and said, why are you still blocking me? And I said it by email. So I even have the email where it says, oh, my bad. I thought I unblocked you. I forgot to hit OK when I unblocked your number. So you stayed blocked.
No, I think that's because she knew he was coming to see me today. Henry brought him to see me.
Wow.
I saw him first, and then I saw Henry. And Henry and I said, well, me and Darius' session went way over, and then me and Henry's session went over. And then on my way home, I got a call from both of them, and so I was like, okay, I'm tired. I got to go to sleep. But,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
But I know you have ill feelings and ill will, but I don't think, like I told you before, it should be directed at him, because he's only going on what he knows, and he stayed out of it. This is a non-confrontational person.
Yeah, like I said, I saw him on accident one time, and he was not threatening, aggressive, or anything. But I mean, in a sense, you have to kind of, with everything the ex is telling him, that I beat her and I did this, that, and other, I would be on alert, and that's not the case. But okay, I get you. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
I think she knew Darius was gonna tell me about you not reaching out to him, and she had the right to say that you were unblocked.
Yeah, she just
that day. But I told him no. I said no. I showed him the screenshot. So
and
if y'all mad at me, or if she mad at me, I'm sorry. But like I said, I can't, just because we cool don't mean I'm going to lie for you, or that I'm not going to say what's right. I have to do what I have to do.
Yeah.
So I apologize. And again, I overstepped my boundaries, and I showed Henry the screenshot of the phone being blocked, and he asked me to send him. Could I send him that? I told him no. I said, by law, I can't. I said, because I wasn't even supposed to show it to you without Reginald's permission, because it was a personal text from him to me in regards to his child. I said, so I can't send it to you or forward it to you. And I think he wanted that so he can confront her. And I told him, I can't get in that. I said, I'm just giving you this for information so you will know that how you have him tagged is not right and not true. And I said, and that's the only reason I showed you this, because what you are hearing, that is not Reggie. I said, Reggie called me and tell me he hasn't talked to them, or he's blocked, or he hadn't spoke to him in a while. And I said, and it actually hurts him. I said, he's not happy about it. It hurt him. And so I said, I'm just showing you this to validate that what you're being told is the truth about him. I said, so no, I can't forward you that screenshot. All right, I can't forward you that.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll forward him all of them. Let him have all of them. Everyone going all the way back to September, or in the email that when she refused to give me the number, and the court order saying that I requested it, and the statement I made after she released it saying that she didn't unblock it, and the email that says that she acknowledges that she didn't unblock it. Now it's unblocked, and the only reason she unblocked it because she was trying to get.
If you feel comfortable doing that, you do it. I can't.
No. At this point, I don't have a voice.
She said that they got in an argument because he told her that the way she was stringing you along, that maybe she was still in love with you or whatever. And
she actually said that.
Told him about the conversation that y'all had at court, and he said he was really proud of her because for a long time they had been arguing that she was trying to hold on, or she was only nitpicking you to keep it going, or to have a reason to contact you, or have a hand in control and manipulation. And when she did that, he thought, okay, she's trying to show or prove that she really not still in love with him. But when he saw that she was still blocking you after she told him that she unblocked you and gave you the number, he kind of was like, he was in disbelief.
Yeah.
And then he said, this only helped her. This doesn't help those kids. I said, I know.
Yeah.
Because she still, with her having the number and being able to block him, she's still in control of the situation. And that she's feeling good that she can control it, but she's hurting the kids at the same time. Yeah. I said, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And so he went and took Darius after they left. They went to eat. He took them to eat. And they went home, and she was mad because he didn't get her what she wanted. So she left and went and got it herself. And she called me crying.
Ooh, I know those days. Ooh-wee. Wow. Okay, you go back to sleep. You go back to sleep. I can't. I mean, I'm at work, and I'm just gonna have to just sit back and just try to process this. I'm very much so sit back, process first, react last, because I'm a poor, quick reaction. I have poor, fast, quick reactions, and I don't.
That's why I wanted to get to you first. But I guess, like I said, I don't know what happened at their house or what was going on.
Yeah.
But when he left me, he was determined that he's calling you, and he didn't care what she said.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. But then at least I understand his intent, because he hasn't been disrespectful or anything at all. I mean,
he's not a disrespectful man. He's a very mild, calm man. The only time he gets disrespectful or get mean is when she pokes his button, and then she'll be like, I don't want to argue about this, or let's not talk about this. And he says she'll just keep on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
He's like, must we do this now? Or this isn't the right time? Or Darius to hear it. And he said she keep on and on and on. And then he said, and that's when he clicked. And then when he clicked, he's the bad person.
Yep, that's how it works.
But he is not a confrontational person at all.
Yeah.
But when she called me, she only called me after he clicked on her. And then when the story comes out, and his side of the story is because he tried to shut it down first, but she want to keep on and carry it on and on and on after he's telling her, you know, you need to calm down. You need to watch how you're talking to me. You need to, mind your voice or lower your voice. And then she keep on and on and on. And he said he have to go to sleep because he drives trucks and get up early. But she 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning still nagging at him. And he said he have to tell her, if you want me to go, I'll go. But he's a non-confrontational person. And Darius even said that. He said he could see you, him, and Henry hanging out together, going to games and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Because I guess both of y'all are, to him, it's like y'all support or mild, non-confrontational until you poke the bear.
Yep, that's it. Wow.
So you do whatever you feel is necessary, but I'm letting you know what Darius wants and how he feels, and he needs an outlet because he was about to cry and he was about to bust. Okay. And he needs some way to get that out. And he wanted to start seeing me once a week starting in January. Because he said he feel like he needs to talk and get things off his chest that's building up every time he wait a long time to see me. And I gave him my numbers and everything.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
Okay, Joe.
All righty. Yeah, take it easy. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Hey, bye-bye.
Okay, so if you made it here, definitely thank you for listening. There's so much more to this story. There's so much that needs to be said, and I appreciate you listening to this little chapter. And please stay tuned because we're out of the business of staying quiet, and people that do bad things should be brought out and exposed. And this is just the first part of it. Thanks for listening to the Basic Black Podcast. Have a good evening.